everybody, thanks so much for joining me. I hope you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving. I definitely did. Ate plenty of food, plenty of leftovers, plenty of pie. So here I am back home, and I wanted to share with you some things that I took with me as I traveled. We went back to my hometown. If you saw my Instagram or Snapchat stories, I shared quite a few things on there. But it was a lot of fun, and I always feel like whenever I go somewhere for a few days and I take some makeup with me, I come back with a whole new kind of idea about the things that I'm using. Because I think the deal is you're confined to using just the things that you packed. And when that short span of time is over, you feel like you've really come to some conclusions about things. And so that's what I wanted to do in this video, is give you some sort of mini reviews on some of the things that I took with me. And I feel so festive today because I've got the Santa mug out. I believe I got this from Hobby Lobby, actually. First thing I'll mention is kind of skincare, makeup removal related. I recently ran out of my stash of the Equate Daily Facials Cleansing Cloths, and those are dry cloths that like suds up when you get water on them, and they are a fantastic travel thing because you can just, you know, grab out as many as you think you're gonna need, toss them in the bag. There's no mess, you just toss them when you're done. But I recently ran out of those, and with my boot on, you know, with my broken foot, which I'm so hoping I get to take the boot off this week. I'm going back to the doctor because it will have been 4 weeks exactly on Wednesday. So I'll go back and they'll re-x-ray me and maybe I'll be able to take it off. But anyway, because of the boot, you know, I don't necessarily get out to shop as frequently as I might otherwise. So that does kind of cause me to look around at the stuff I already have. So when I run out of something, you know, what else could I use? And I realized I really like this Urban Decay Meltdown Makeup Remover Cleansing Oil Stick. And I realized this isn't necessarily a really different thing from, say, the IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Makeup or Clinique's, I think it's called Take the Day Off. You know, those different products that come in tubs. But this is a stick, so I'm not really gooping my fingers into it. There's just some kind of special ease in using a stick and just zhuzhing it all over your face. This, by the way, does smell really good. Smells a little bit fruity to me, actually. It doesn't taste good, though. If you happen to get any on your lips, it doesn't taste great. But here's what I'm finding. When I use this and then I pair it with some type of wet wipe, which generally for me, like pre-moistened towelettes just don't get the job done of removing everything so well, particularly eye makeup. And so I can take this stick all over my face. And so I just rub everywhere, even straight over my eyelids, mascara, you name it. And then I just get a little bit of water on my fingers and sort of blend the product around. And you might even see this, it says oil to micro foam. It doesn't foam up a ton, but I mean, I just add a little water to it and I feel like it starts breaking everything down. Just let it sit on your skin that way for not even a minute, you know, just give it a little time. And then you grab out a wipe and I swear everything just goes off so easily. All the eye makeup, everything just 100% completely removes from the face. And the wipe that I've been using is the Garnier Skin Active Micellar Makeup Removing Towelettes. This is just the sensitive one. You know, it's equivalent to the formula that's being sold with the pink cap. They also have the waterproof kind, which I haven't tried yet, but I've already used 1 pouch of these and I think they're pretty darn good. I like them because they're very gentle and they don't leave residue. I'm not saying I don't like my Equate Daily Facials anymore. It's just a situation where I ran out, I came up with a new thing, and one thing that I do like about this technique though is that it really doesn't dry me out at all. And this time of year, everything's getting more dry. You got the heat running in your home, in your car. I think my skin is maybe more prone to being a little dry right now, and so I feel like using the oil stick and then one of these is just super gentle and doesn't strip the skin at all, but it really fully removes everything, which I'm happy with. Long story to simply explain that sometimes when you pair one of those cleansing balm type products with your wet wipes and just kind of prep your skin with that a little bit first, everything can slide off a lot more easily. A little foundation follow-up for you here. The Maybelline Superstay, which I used in that makeup playtime video that I did. I've got this in the shade Warm Nude. I would say if there's one thing I could change about this, I would get a little bit lighter shade. I might do that. And since shooting that video, I've used this several times and I'm very happy to report that I have had very consistent results with this. Very similar to what you saw at the end of that video where I did the check-ins, like there might have been a little bit of shine around the nose area. I think that's a pretty standard result with this foundation. foundation, but the coverage is awesome. Really full coverage, and I don't just toss that word around lightly because I think so many things claim full coverage that aren't. But this was very good in the coverage department and very matte, so I really continue to enjoy that. And something that I've been using even like a little bit before that foundation and just trying on and off is this LA Colors Truly Matte. So I traveled with this as well, so I could very closely compare to this other one and like use one day, one the next. I'm always doing my homework, y'all, even when I'm on the road. So this says long wearing high pigment foundation. I'm wearing it in the shade Natural, and I'm wearing that today as well. This is, I believe, the second lightest shade that they have, and I was so surprised. Like, I have a whole PR box of this stuff, and so I was going through different shades, and the ones that I initially picked for myself were like way too dark or way too yellow. This one really does suit me, but I'm not like the lightest of the light skin, so if you are like super duper fair, there may not be a lot of options for you in this line. I like this foundation. It has worn very well for me. However, it's less coverage, a little less coverage than the Super Stay, and it's also not as matte as this one, which is kind of funny because matte's in the name, but it's not like incredibly matte on the skin. I think it's giving me a very pretty look. I don't always need the fullest coverage, and so this can definitely be adequate for me, and the staying power I find to be really good, but I just think it's more of like a natural, maybe semi-matte type finish, because this bad boy in comparison is bringing the coverage hardcore, bringing the matteness, and this one's just not quite going that far. It's just a little bit lighter foundation all around. However, I'm also testing the LA Colors Translucent Setting Powder and their Mineral Pressed Powder. These are the steps that end up making this look matte if you pair it all together. Because in the days that I've been testing this, I've been using these products as well, and I'll come away from the look saying, wow, I'm so matte, but then I kind of remind myself, no, right after you put this foundation on, it really wasn't that matte. It's the powder that's making it that way, if you want to go that route, you know? So the Translucent Setting Powder, this really reminds me a lot of the IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Pores. I mean, it works really well as a light under eye setting powder. I've got that on my under eye area today and around my nose too, and I do think it kind of disguises the look of pores. It makes you super duper matte, just like instantaneously. So if you're looking for a good low cost mattifying translucent powder, there's that. But I would say what I'm even more impressed with perhaps is the Mineral Pressed Powder, and I have this in Fair. Again, I think everything in this line is running a little dark. The smoothness of this powder, it's got a feeling that's kind of on par with L'Oreal True Match, but maybe even a little more coverage than that, kind of reminding me of the Milani Multitasker powder actually. Just one like swirl in the compact. It feels very rich. This is also pretty mattifying too. But if I've got both of these, I'm going to be more likely to maybe use this on the under eye because it doesn't give me any added darkness or any added color, you know, to that area. And then I put this everywhere else. And when you do that with this foundation, you end up with a super duper matte look. But I was pretty pleasantly surprised by those powders, and I think this one especially, the texture is awesome. Gonna need to check the price point and see how it compares to some of those other drugstore ones. But if it's lower cost than those, I think it might be worth seeking this one out. And I'm really surprised to see that coming from LA Colors, because their skin products, their complexion things have traditionally not been that good for me, so I'm happy to see that. Oh, I also wanted to mention I've been using the Master Prime too, just regardless with anything, and I love the added hydration that this gives. Pretty remarkable primer. I think dry skin folks would love to have a nice layer of this underneath their foundations, particularly when you're going for something like the Super Stay that can set sort of quickly on the skin. It's very matte, it's very full coverage. A primer like that is your friend. By the way, can we just appreciate again the beautiful sky behind me this morning? I need to just position myself off to the side a little bit more, so if you're tired of looking at my face, you can just look out the window. The eye palette I took with me. I said I was gonna take the IT Cosmetics beauty book, but then I was like, no, you already pretty much know what you think about that thing. You need to take something new. And like I said, do your homework and figure out what you think of something else. So I took this palette. This is the Too Faced Clover palette, and this is named after the founder's dog. There he is right there. I mean, if I had a makeup line, I would totally make a cupcake palette. And when they launched this, I believe they donated like $250,000 to some sort of animal related organization. Best Friends Animal Society was what it was. So that was nice to see as well. But this is what the palette looks like. I mean, just the outside. Can we just look at this for a moment? it's complete nonsense. I mean, we've got like a whale with a unicorn horn, there's donuts, chocolate bars, cats, dogs, bunnies, peaches, ice cream. I like when Too Faced has a concept. They really fully commit to it. I like that. And this is the color palette. Guys, I like this one a lot. I really enjoyed this, and I thought the quality was spectacular, actually. The mattes are great. I love the shimmery shades. This purple is just, sorry about the chip nail, but this purple is awesome. That peachy shimmer right above it is great too. These three mattes in this row are like my best friends. It's truly such a fun palette, and you can do so many different things with it. Now, if you're thinking only like the reddish or warm, neutral brown, possibly the purple shade appeals to you, then you're falling into that sunset color scheme that I personally really like. But if those are the only kinds of shades that appeal to you, I would once again direct you toward the Lorac Unzipped Desert Sunset, because it's kind of got all of that type of shade into one condensed, really nice quality palette. But if the thought of going beyond that color scheme appeals to you, and you want the yellow, and you want like the blue up here, and this green, and then you've got this duochrome color down here, these like brownish mauvey mattes here are just awesome. I really like those. I wish I would have taken more pictures of the different looks that I've done with this, but I know I got one when I did the purple. But I'm not really saying this is everyone's dream palette or this is something absolutely everyone out there needs. But if this whole color scheme appeals to you, which I would overall describe as neutral with quite a few different pops, if you like that idea but you were wondering about the quality or on the fence about what this was like quality-wise, I think it's really, really nice. And as I said, the outer packaging, complete nonsense going on out here, like a nonsense parade, but I love it. The face thing that I took with me, as much as I wanted to like take something brand new and different, I couldn't hold back from taking my Hourglass palette. I'm wearing all of this stuff today as well. I just love this so much. I think the mixture of things in here is just perfect, and I've become so accustomed to like having my little routine with this, and I go to each different shade and I have a certain way that I like to put it on, and I love that palette. Okay, I promise I'm almost done. Just a few more things here. I have found a liquid eyeliner that I'm really enjoying. And guys, it's maybe been years since I've brought a new liquid eyeliner into the conversation, because you know I love the Jordana Color Envy, but I've got so many liquid eyeliners that I need to be using that I kind of decided the last one that I ran out of, I was going to try to dig into what I already had. And I used the NYX matte. I actually used that whole one up. I was not happy with the brush tip. The formula itself was fine, but I didn't like the way their brush was kind of like a little bit flat and not so much just a pointed tip. Ran out of that one, kissed that one goodbye, and now I've moved on to this L'Oreal Infallible Super Slim, and I have it in black. And this is not a fully waterproof liner. Okay, gotta get that out of the way first, because I really like using waterproof liquid liners, particularly this time of year, even more than summer. Like, I'm not the type who's gonna wear full or partial makeup to a pool and then jump in and hope it all lasts. No, get all the makeup off, just put sunscreen on me so I can swim, you know, that's what I'm about. But this time of year, I think I can use the waterproof even more because the air is drier, and I think I'm more prone to watery eyes, especially sitting in a car. I don't know how many times I was like, you know, doing that little dabby thing, hoping that nothing was smudging. And I've done winged liner with this, and it still hasn't gone anywhere, I guess is the point I'm trying to come to here. It's not a waterproof formula, because like when I swatch it on my hand, I can pretty easily get this off with water, but it seems to still withstand regular wear and even a little bit of watery eyes. So it's been okay for me in that respect. I love the shape of the tip. This is crucial for me. I love the length and the taper of that, because I can pretty much lay that down across my lash line and get a very easy, very quick application. Also, it's juicy enough. I've been using this on and off for a few weeks now, and it's definitely plenty of juice going across. I don't like a dry felt tip. Also, it's very black and very matte. I don't want any shine coming across. When I'm using something like this for the purpose of, you know, lining my upper lash line, doing a wing, having a nice clean black line there, I want it matte. And so this one definitely is checking all the boxes for me. It also doesn't flake off or do anything weird in terms of wear. And pens are always easy. I've never really been anti-pen, but it's just so many of them aren't juicy enough. And you use them for just a couple weeks and then they become so dry that it's more of a hassle to use them than it is a help. So good product, really enjoy enjoy that. And then this mascara that I've been trying out is the Marc Jacobs. It's the Emily here. You can see it's got my name now. It's not actually called the Emily, but that was very sweet of them to put that on there and send that in the PR package. That's very fun to see my name on something. Thank you. This is the Velvet Noir Major Volume Mascara. Hey, it's tiny print and I could actually read it. Digging the hexagon shaped packaging there, and the brush is a really nice size. It's really not very big at all. The bristles are rather short. It's a very shallow hourglass, which is fine because it can get in touch with all my lashes. If it's going to be an hourglass, it really needs to be that way. It can't dip too deep or else the depth of that's never going to touch your lashes. I really like the blackness of this. I like the ability to lengthen out. When I first used it, I thought, wow, it's pretty wet. Now after about a week's time using it on and off, it's not quite as wet, but it's still a little too heavy. It builds on itself really nicely. It's just not ideal for holding the curl, and that's something that a mascara's really got to do for me. So I don't see myself repurchasing this one. I do see myself saving this tube because, again, it's got my name on it. That's awesome. It doesn't fall into my worst mascaras ever pile. It just falls into my medium mascara pile. That L'Oreal Lash Paradise, I gotta say, it holds the curl, it builds up quickly, it just does so many things great for me, and this one just not quite as good. I took quite a few lip products with me. I took the little Best Bite kit, the set of 4 lipsticks, because I thought there is a great range and I'll have whatever shades I need. I also took my Bare Minerals set that I talked about as well in the gift guide video because I love that formula and those are great nudes. And I got a new Renaissance lipstick, well, fairly recently from Makeup Revolution, and this is the shade Rebirth. And I think this is kind of a unique shade I wanted to share with you. It's not what I'm wearing right now. It really is just pumpkin. I think it's so pretty, and someone was asking me, I think it was after I'd mentioned the Too Faced Gingerbread Man shade, like what's comparable to that? I'm not really calling this comparable to that because that's got a little more red in it. It's a little bit deeper, but I was starting to realize that I just don't have a lot of things in my collection that are this sort of dusty burnt orange. Like I'd call this a little bit dustier than a University of Texas Longhorn burnt orange shade, you know? But this is a super creamy, very pleasant to wear formula, and I like this color in it very much. So guys, that is it for this video. I hope this was somewhat interesting. I just felt like I came away from my travels with so many like little ideas that I wanted to pass along about these different products. As always, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for subscribing and for your kind comments. I appreciate them more than you know, and I will see you very soon in my next video. Bye.